Yeah. So we were talking about like if we want to mount or if we want to allow 4 to 5 IPs on a single machine, then how can we do that, right?
Yes, sir.
We need to go to instances. Now, once this particular is available, select it, go to security section. Is my screen visible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go to security section, open the security group. Now, you need to edit only inbound rules. Add another rule here. Select protocol because you want to allow for SSH. You need to define a custom IP. For example, you want to allow 5 IP addresses, and these are of any specific series. For example, 10.12.88.0/28, like this. So
Okay, sir.
only the IP address which are lying inside this particular subnet will be allowed.
Sir, uh, last one 28, like 24, 26. Only even numbers will occur, sir, not odd numbers, sir.
Plus
Then
20.
how many IPs, sir?
So for that, you need to have understanding of networking. The basic networking concept you need to learn.
Okay.
In a nutshell, if I have to tell you something about it, so whenever we work with the IP addressing or networking, we need to understand that there are two type of IP addresses available. Like first of all, IPv4. Okay, first of all, it is IPv4. This is 32-bit logical address. This is 32-bit logical address. Then after, if we talk about next, it has 4 octets. It has 4 octets, right?
Yes, sir.
Then after, if we talk about, it has 5 classes.
A, B, C, D, E,
Okay, like obviously you rightly said A.
B, C, D.
It provides public and private IP address, right?
Yes, sir.
When we are talking about like how to handle this, how do we identify how many IPs are there?
Formula, sir.
So there is a formula. Like for example, in class A, we have to define here the range of IP addresses.
1 to 126.
Class A has a range from 1 to
126.
yes. I would like to highlight here 127
Loop address.
or 128, 127. This is for loopback address,
Yes, sir.
like kind of self-testing, you can say. After that,
128 to
class
D.
B 128,
192.
and this goes up to 191
90.
slash 16. Class C
192 to 2
slash 24.
okay, sir.
So what is this slash 24? We need to understand that. So whenever we calculate like how many IP address will be there in this particular network class or in this particular range. So there is a formula. First of all, the formula here is okay. Let us call this particular IPv4. This is any IP address is made of two things: network bits and host bits. So the particular slash number which is written here, these are known as network bits,
Network.
right? These are
Yes,
known as network bits. How do we calculate? What could be the maximum range here?
32.
32, right?
Yes, sir.
So let us say 32 minus n. Now what is n?
24.
24. And what is n? So let us say in this particular, this
8.
8 is the value of n.
Yes, sir.
Like 8 network bits are there. In case of class B,
16.
16. In case of class C, 24.
20.
So let us calculate for class C. 32 minus
24.
24. What will be the value here? 8.
8.
Now, the main formula here is 2 to the power this.
8.
Like 2 to the power
8.
32 minus n. Now, what is this n? Let us say if we define here 8, like class A, what will be this value? 24.
8. Yes. No, sir. Yes, sir.
In class A, I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If we have to count like how many IP addresses will be there in class A, only one range I'm talking about.
Okay, sir.
So we have to calculate like 2 to the power 32 minus 8 equals to 24. So if someone is going to ask you, okay, how many IP addresses are there in this series, let us say 10.0.0.0 slash 8.
Private.
So how many IP addresses will be there? You can let the person know, just calculate it 2 to the power
8. 24.
24. These many IP addresses will be there. Okay. Let us say class A. Okay, once again, like if we have to calculate the same thing for class B, then how do we need to check it?
2 to the power of
2
32 minus 16,
to
sir.
the power
16.
32 minus 16, which will become
2 power 16.
16, right?
Yes, sir.
So if someone is going to ask you, okay, like how many IP addresses will be there in this series? That's
65,000.
172.16.0.0 slash 16. How many IP addresses will be there? So the formula says it has
60.
to be 2 to the power
16.
16. And this number becomes equal to 65,536.
500.
These many IP addresses will be there in class B, this particular subnet, this particular network range, slash 16. Okay. The same thing, if we have to calculate for class C, what is the formula? 2
Power N.
to the power
8.
what? 32, like maximum bits minus
24.
n, which is 24 here, and this becomes 8.
Yes, sir.
So if someone is going to ask you, okay, how many IP addresses will be there in class C, like 192.168.0.0 slash 24.
24.
So as per this formula, what does it say? 2 to the power, what is the value?
8.
8. This will become 256. So these many IP addresses will be there in class C.
Yes, sir.
This is class B. And down the line, class C. So right now we are talking about, if we are talking about like the complete network ID, the subnet, network mask, if we are defining it this way. Now, guys, there is one another concept which is known as CIDR. Now, what does that mean? Class
Classical.
inter-domain routing. For example, I want to utilize this network series, but what do I want? I want to have only, let us say, 16 IPs. That's 16 hosts I want to have. So let us say if I define here 2 and to the power 2 to the power 4. What will be the value, guys?
16.
16. Okay. Now, based on that formula, because right now we are talking about this particular section. So it is just clear mathematical calculation. So if I have to define here, so rather than defining a 24, what do I need to define here? 28. Only then this value will become 4.
Yes, sir.
So whenever I will be defining a particular network range where I can get only 16 IP address. So how will I define it here? Let us see. It will look like 10.0.0.0/28. Okay. Are we clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us say rather than having 16 IP, I want to go for 32. Okay, not this one. 2 to the power 5. This will become here 32. And how do we calculate it? 27. So it is not about even numbers or odd numbers. It is only about your requirement. If you want to have more number of IP addresses, then you can increase this particular value. Like how do we increase this? So for example, if this value is higher, then IP address will be less. And if this value is less, let us say 25. How many IP addresses will we have here?
2 to the power 7.
So are we clear with this particular formula? How do we calculate number of IPs we are
Yes.
going to have?
Sir, here I am I correct, sir? Like 2 to the power 7 we get.
Yes, 128.
Okay, sir.
So any other one? Do you have any question here, guys?
Sir, same thing can be made for class B, class C also, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So then it will be known as CIDR. What does that mean?
Classical
Class inter-domain routing.
routing.
Guys, any question? Any other one has any question? Rakesh ji?
This is a part of this host addressing, right?
So basically, this is basic networking section.
Okay.
Like
Host addressing, this address, subnet mask, and interface we have to.
yes, and finally the CIDR. Okay. So Teja, I hope that we are clear that how do you whitelist the IP addresses?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, not a problem. So we were working here on this particular Linux box. So if as you see, this particular disk has overall size 9.2 GB. Out of that, 8.5 GB is utilized. And if you see here, 721 MB is remaining, like 93% utilized. So now, guys, there is a command du, disk utilization hyphen s. It will show you the overall size h in human readable format, that how much data is available within this particular directory. Okay. I'm saying asterisk. Every individual folder should be calculated separately. Du hyphen sh. Asterisk means each folder size will be calculated separately. For example, boot. It has 134 MB of data plus etc. It has 23 MB of data. Home 96 KB. Next root 36 KB. Then run 9.4 MB. Then temp. Then USR and then what? These are the folders.
But sir, in bin have a lots of data, but why not shows like a MBs or KB? It shows 0.
So this is just a symbolic link. That is
Oh,
a
that's
link.
why.
Same thing goes with lib64. End of the day, this particular size calculation is happening here in this particular folder. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One more very important thing I would like to highlight here today, that usually people ask, during interview people ask that I have a particular server where a particular disk space of, let us say, 2 terabyte is mounted. Let me repeat again. I have a server where a disk of 2 terabyte is mounted. This server we are utilizing as log server. Now, multiple servers are sending data to this particular folder. I want to see which particular servers are generating and sending majority of logs. Like, or in other words, I want to see only those 10 folders which are consuming most of disk space. Is my question clear?
Yes, sir.
Like, see, end of the day, same question is being asked. But the particular way to ask these questions is different. How is that? The person is not asking that, okay, tell me the particular command to check top most disk space utilizing folders. This is the original question. But how do people ask during interview? That I have a server where a disk space of 2 terabyte is mounted. This server is being utilized as log server. Now, I want to know what are the servers which are generating most of logs and sending here. So this has become a scenario-based question. Otherwise, if I have to ask straightforward, how can I ask it?
Top.
Rakesh ji, how can you ask this question into a straightforward manner?
Here we can be asked which server is taking more number of the data, like to get stored in the server, disk.
Or this can be asked in this way as well. Tell me the command to identify most disk space consuming folders. Right? But just to make people confused, these sort of questions usually come into exam. Okay. For example, what is the command here? Du hyphen sh. Asterisk, this command we executed. Now we need to run a command sort hyphen rh. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If you see here, see the sequence. USR is the particular folder which is consuming most of disk space, right?
Yes, sir.
Then after this,
Where?
Where
193. After that,
boot.
like this is in reverse order. Most utilizing that was the requirement basically. So what is the command we can utilize here? Du hyphen sh asterisk pipe. Then we are going to sort it based on the particular size in human readable format. Are we clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Now, for instance, someone is asking, I want to check only 20 folders, or maybe 10 folders, maybe 5 folders. What you can do? Head Head command is very well known to you. Minus n. Let us say only 3 folders I want to identify. So these are the 3 folders coming in. You can define number of folders you want to see as output of this particular command. Are we clear with that?
Yes, sir.
One question I have over here.
Please.
If we have done this df-h over there, so we can see that only we have some MBs were available in that disk. So 722 MB is there. So entire 8.5 GB where is exhausted? Can we check that exactly?
Yes, that's the original question which we had yesterday.
Yes.
If you remember, I created 2 files here inside slash data. But those files are not available here. Why? Because I mounted a new partition onto this particular location. You mount slash data. Now let us do same thing once again. du-sh asterisk sort -rh add minus n2. Now what is coming here?
Exact use of the space of the 7 GB data.
And our disk space is free now. Right? And
Yes.
how did that happen? Because guys, we need to be very careful while we are trying to mount any partition onto any folder. So we need to be very careful. We need to ensure this thing that wherever we are trying to mount the particular file system, that particular location should not have any kind of data available. Otherwise, that data will go hidden, and that disk space or the particular amount of disk space being utilized by those images, those folders, those data, or let us say you have some log files available there. Until and unless you unmount your currently mounted partition from that particular folder, you will not be able to see that. So there was a situation when I got into this particular kind of condition. I was given a task that you need to clear the disk space. So what was the scenario here there? Let us say there is a command fallocate -l define the size, let us say 6 GB. Data 1. I created a file here. Like this was the situation. Right? So what happened? Someone checked, okay, slash data folder is already available. So rather than creating any new folder, the person thought of utilizing this particular location to mount the partition known as xvdb. The person executed a command like mount /dev xvdb, selected the location as /data without checking whether some data is already available inside this folder or not. Person hit the command, ran the command once again to check df-th to check the file system, availability of that mount point, everything the person did, but the person missed to check whether some data is already available here or not. So right now, if you go here, let us say /, if you run this command, you will see just before a couple of moments, I created a particular file known as data1 inside /data. You remember that, guys?
Oh, yes.
If I go under /data and if I try to list files, that file is not visible. Why? Because that time when I created the file, this data was representing this / only, the root file system. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now I have already placed one more layer of one additional file system onto this particular location. So now what are going to be the particular like steps in order to identify. So guys, what we need to do here is we need to see all the available disk space which are mounted onto this particular location. We need to unmount it. One by one, guys, because right now we are doing troubleshooting. We are not pretty much sure that what is available where. We need to unmount the mount points for on time period basis. Then once again, we will go to this location slash. We will run the command. Now this will help us identify, okay, there's some data available inside slash data. Go here, delete the file, because if this is not required, if required, you can copy this file to some other location, and after that, once again, you can go back and you can run the mount command.
At this moment, we cannot do LL to check exactly what data are there.
Yes. Because right now the additional layer of that additional mount point has been removed. Right now, the system is available within previous state.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, when we mount any point, any directory, so this is a by default setting. That's why we mount. So if sir, I want to mount, but I want ki if like a slash data have a data, but I want to when we mount this directory, so permission my system says permission deny. So how does it work? How what should I do?
So permission denied wala error can come only in one situation. Let us say you logged in as EC2 test user, right?
Yes, sir.
And now you are trying to execute the command. कौन सी command? Like you are trying to execute here mount dev. उसका disk का नाम क्या है?
xvdb.
Mount कहाँ करना है?
No, sir. Sir, I will try to my explain new word. Sir, if I have a directory, that directory name is slash data.
Okay.
That directory have some data.
Hmm.
So I want to when we mount any other disk. So if this is directory like a slash data have already data. So I want when we mount this same data directory, so it will not mount.
Okay,
Reason being कि
possible नहीं होता है use. Reason behind is root is super user.
Yes,
उसके
sir.
पास 3 powers होती हैं to decide whatever the person wants to do. So as a Linux admin, ये आपकी जिम्मेदारी होती है to check whether any data is available here or not.
Okay.
As a system admin, this is your responsibility.
Okay.
अगर आपने वो चेक करना मिस कर दिया है, that is entirely up to you कि आप फिर से उसको अनमाउंट करो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आफ्टर माउंटिंग द फोल्डर आपको पता लग ही नहीं रहा कि डिस्क स्पेस गया कहाँ है, तो एक एक करके आपने जितने भी माउंट पॉइंट यहाँ पे लाइक लोकेशन पे ऐड किए हुए हैं, यूनिटी चेक. लेट अस से स्लैश बूट का तो साइज ही बहुत छोटा सा है, सो ऑब्वियसली इट कैन नॉट कंज्यूम अ लॉट ऑफ डिस्क स्पेस. अगर हम बात करते हैं यहाँ पे स्लैश EFI का, इसका बहुत ज्यादा साइज नहीं, वी फैट ओनली 200 MB. बट लेट अस से अगर यहाँ से 7 GB 8 GB डिस्क स्पेस मिसिंग है, देन व्हाट? ये तो कोई ऐसा फोल्डर है जो कि यहाँ पे माउंटेड दिखा रहा है और उसी फोल्डर के अंदर किसी यूजर ने डेटा रखा होगा. डेटा रखने के बाद बिफोर माउंटिंग न्यू पार्टीशन उसने चेक नहीं किया इसको कि हाँ यहाँ पे कोई एडिशनल डेटा रखा हुआ है क्या.
Yes, sir.
एंड उसने ओवरराइट कर दिया इसको. पुराना डेटा भी इसी के अंदर रखा हुआ है, बट एट दैट मोमेंट स्लैश डेटा किसको रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा था? इस वाले पार्टीशन जहां पे आपको डिस्क स्पेस नहीं मिल रहा है. मोरोवर डिस्क स्पेस मिलता क्यों नहीं है? लेट मी टेल यू दैट थिंग एज वेल. सो आफ्टर माउंटिंग इट हियर, हम लोग चलते हैं, एक फाइल है अपनी etc fstab. fstab का मतलब होता है फाइल सिस्टम टेबल. क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
जैसे कि यहाँ पे पहले से 2 एंट्री पड़ी हुई, हम एक एंट्री और डाल देंगे. व्हाट इज द डिस्क नेम?
XVD dev XVDB
ओके, ये माउंट कहाँ करना था हमें?
data/data
फाइल सिस्टम का नाम क्या रखा था?
XFS
और यहाँ पे रख दिए
default
डिफॉल्ट.
00.
दैट इज इट. अब अगर हम क्या करते हैं, लेटर से अब अगर मैं इसको अनमाउंट कर देता हूं और मैं अपना सिस्टम रिबूट करता हूं, तो क्या होगा?
तो ये अनमाउंट नहीं होगी.
नहीं. सिंस वी हैव मेड द एंट्रीज हियर इन ईटीसी एफएस टैब, जो भी एंट्रीज आपको ईटीसी एफएस टैब में मिलेंगी अक्रॉस द रिबूट, इसको बोलते हैं परमानेंट माउंटिंग. व्हाट डू वी कॉल इट?
Permanent mounting.
परमानेंट माउंटिंग. ओके.
Without doing any like changes in the FS tab, if we just reboot our application, then rest of our like the data will be lost.
यस राकेश जी. सो होता क्या है, अगर आप बिना यहाँ पे एंट्री किए and if you reboot the system,
Okay.
then the particular disks which are mounted on temporary basis with the help of this command, like mount, then the particular disk, then the mount point. यही वाली कमांड चलाई थी ना हम लोगों ने पहले.
हाँ.
लाइक यहाँ पे हमने रिप्लेस डिस्क नेम रिप्लेस करता सिलेक्ट डेव एक्सवीडी बी से.
हाँ.
रिमेंबर? और यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने माउंट पॉइंट रिप्लेस किया था किससे? सिलेक्ट डेटा से रिप्लेस किया था ना.
हाँ.
ओके. सो व्हाट इफ I missed to update these entries inside slash fs etc fstab file. मेरा डिस्क आफ्टर रिबूट माउंट नहीं होगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, रादर देन माउंटिंग इट दिस वे, हम ये चाहते हैं जितने भी एफएस टैब के अंदर एंट्री है वो सब यहाँ पे माउंट हो जाए ऑटोमेटिकली. कैसे होगा मैं बताता हूँ आपको. df-h, यहाँ पे सिलेक्ट डेटा वाला फोल्डर आ रहा है क्या अभी? इज दैट विजिबल?
No.
ओके. रन द कमांड mount-a. अवेलेबल?
Yes, sir.
That is visible now. So now what to do? Let's move ahead. So guys, yesterday अभी तो ये तो क्लियर हो गया ना, like how do we mount a particular disk
Yes,
in
sir.
dynamic manner as well as in permanent manner. एक चीज मैं आपको और बताना चाहूंगा, like what are the different options. ये काम जरूर कर लेना घर जाने के बाद, मतलब घर पे ही हो फॉर श्योर, जब भी टाइम मिले तब कर लेना. इट फील्स लाइक क्लास में बैठे हुए हैं एंड देन वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट ऑल दीज थिंग्स. सो करना क्या है, एक मैन पेज पढ़ना है आपको. मैन पेज किस चीज का? एफएस टैब का. एफएस टैब मींस फाइल
File
सिस्टम
system table.
स्टैटिक इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट फाइल सिस्टम्स. डिस्क्रिप्शन क्या है? द फाइल एफएस टैब कंटेन्स डिस्क्रिप्टिव इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट द फाइल सिस्टम दैट सिस्टम कैन माउंट. अब इसमें और काफी सारी अंग्रेजी मिलेगी. देखो जैसे यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, लेबल इक्वल टू टी हाइफन होम टू होम फाइल सिस्टम. यहाँ पे देखो कुछ लिखा हुआ है, डिफॉल्ट
Defaults.
ऑटो डीए एलॉक 02. अब आपको ये आइडेंटिफाई करना है यहाँ पे कौन कौन सी वैल्यूज और हो सकती है. हमने तो 00 लिखा था. नाउ व्हाई इट इज 02 हियर? ओके, देखो यहाँ पे ये भी बता रखा है, लाइक विद इन दिस पर्टिकुलर फाइल यू कैन इजीली अंडरस्टैंड, यू कैन गेट टू नो दैट द फर्स्ट फील्ड व्हिच इज अवेलेबल हियर, दिस इज fs space. The field describes the block special devices. You remember that we were talking about like block files, block devices.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Where we were trying to understand the different type of files available on the operating system. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
So the block special files or devices are maintained here or are listed down here in order to mount them. The second field, this will describe the mount point, the target for file system. For example, if you want to mount a particular partition on slash data, then slash data will come here. For example, you want to mount that on slash logs. You can create a directory with the name of logs on slash location, or maybe inside slash opt slash logs, wherever you want. You can create your directory and आप उसको यहाँ पे mount कर सकते हैं. What is the third field? The file system type, fs underscore, like file system type overall. Okay. So what could be the file systems here? It could be ext4, it could be xfs, btrfs, f2fs, bfat, ntfs. NTFS means the particular file system which is used by Windows operating system. And if you want to have a kind of file system available here as well, you can format your file system with NTFS as well. TempFS, sysfs, multiple file systems are there. Okay, there is one special case which is swap. Going forward, when we will deep dive into memory constraint, उसमें हम देखेंगे swap क्या होता है, कैसे काम करता है. But yes, for now, swap has a different category, and because that is not a kind of file system that is going to be utilized as memory, so उसका कुछ अलग से section होगा. Okay, fourth field, what do we write here? Mount options. Now what are the mount options here? Wait, let me show you something. What is written here, like defaults?
Yes,
What
sir.
is it? UID 0,
UID.
GID 0,
Yes, sir.
UMask 077,
Yes.
short name, WinNT, then 0 and 2, right? So if you want to read this particular information in more detail, just come here and you will get to know what are the particular possible options we can define here. First of all, defaults, no auto, user, honor, comment, no fail. Then fifth field, what is the particular fifth field we mention here? And sixth field, like how the particular operating system will check the file system. This field is used by fsck. What is fsck?
File system check.
Yes, to determine the order in which file system checks are done at boot time. Okay, so what does that mean? The root file system should be specified with a particular fs pass on or 1, pass no or 1. What does that mean? Other file systems should have a like fs pass no of pass number of 2. So here is the major difference. Root file system should have number 1, others have 2. File system within the drive will be checked like sequentially, but file system on different drives will be checked at the same time of utilize parallelism available in the hardware. Default to 0. What does that mean, default to 0? Do not check the file system, it not present. So for example, if you made some entries within etc fstab file and you forgot to format it, then the operating system will not check if file system exists on particular that or not. One more thing is here. If you go in more details of it, you will get to know by the passage of time that every Linux operating system checks its file system after certain like mount count. What does that mean? For example, let me come out of it. Umount slash data. It is unmounted.
Yes, sir.
If I run a command mount -a, it is mounted once again.
Yes, sir.
Let's unmount it once again and let's mount it again. So what is happening here? Every single time I unmount it, and the very next time I mount it again. So it is known as mount count. The number of time that I have mounted this particular file system. Okay, how does it increase? So there are two limitations. If I define this value as 0, for example, like etc fstab, what value have I defined here?
0.
0. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And this is also 0. So how that is, like when and how it will be checked. So there are two values. Either let us say I have defined that after every 180 days, 180, after every 180 days, my Linux system will check the file system available on any disk which is associated with this OS. After 180 days, for example, I have mounted it once. If you see here, the file system is mounted and I have not rebooted my system, let us say for 1 calendar year. So obviously the mount count will not increase because how does it increase? Every single time I reboot my OS. So at the time of shutting down, every individual mount points becomes unmounted. Whenever system comes up, it increases the mount count 1. Let us say earlier it was 1, now it will become 2. Let us say last time it was 11, now it will become 12. So after certain number of mount count, my file system will be checked. And let us say if mounting and unmounting is not taking place, it means mount count is not increasing, then 180 days, after 180 days, my operating system will automatically check the file system consistency, whether there are some errors or not, or the kind of information our system will check. So there are two ways, either number of mount count or number of days. Whatever comes first, based on that, it will take place. So any doubt so far, guys?
No, sir.
Let us go here. Let us try to unmount the disk. Because once again, guys, we need to mount a disk here. Because this time we are going to create partition.
Yes.
Guys, if you remember last time, yesterday only, we associated this particular disk with that particular operating system. And after performing that operation, what we did? We formatted that particular disk entirely.
Yes, sir.
This is an available state. Select it and delete the volume. You need to type in here delete. Delete this volume. अब क्या करेंगे?
We will create new volume.
We need to ensure कि हमारा मशीन बना हुआ कहाँ पे है?
Sir,
AP South A1.
AP South A1.
sir, in real time, if we want to do partition or mount the disk, we need raise a ticket, sir, to storage team.
So that depends on the roles and responsibility given to individual teams. For example, if you are working in a small organization where only you are the person who has to perform all the activities, there is no need to raise the ticket. Yes, for tracking purpose, you can do that.
Okay, sir. If someone
Yes,
like
let us say if you are working in such an organization जहाँ पे you need to follow a lot of processes, like who requested to create a particular disk, who approved to create that particular disk, who mounted it, where it was mounted, every sort of actions are recorded. Well, let us say if you are working in kind of fintech organization where a lot of transaction takes place. So in that particular case, you need to ensure the like log trail that who requested, who approved, who executed, who verified, and who tested. Everything has to be done there.
okay, sir.
Yeah.
Once we join the company, then we should know about these things, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. You will definitely get to know about that.
Okay, sir.
So volume is attached now. Okay. So guys, the same disk, same name, everything is same, but there will be only one difference. LSBLK, one new disk is added.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But if we want to check whether any file system exists or not, how
BLK,
to check?
LSPL.
BLK ID.
BLK.
So it means the XVDB. The earlier file system which we mounted here inside etc fstab file, that is not available. So let us delete it. Otherwise, it may create some problem. Delete it. Now what to do? Now we want to see how do we create partition. The command here is fdisk Then the
That
disk
disk name.
name, dev and
XVDB.
B. Okay, I am very new to this particular file system. Maybe let us say I'm going to see this particular screen for the very first time. I have never ever done that before. So how can I take help? So in order to take help, print M. It means command M for help. Print it. What kind of things we are going to see? Let us say you are going to see, like, if you generic commands like D for delete a partition, F list free unpartitioned space, L list non-partition type, N add a new partition, P, like, you can go through it for sure. For now,
Yes,
I
sir.
want to create new partition. I will type in here N. Now guys, on any disk which is associated with Linux operating system, you can create two type of partitions. First of all, it is known as primary, and second one is known as secondary, like extended, primary and extended partition. Now what is use of it? So guys, when you are going to create primary partition, so you can install your operating system. So guys, if you remember, there was a time when we used to dual boot operating system like Linux and Windows and Windows 7, Windows 7 and Ubuntu that way. Like, is there anyone who has tried that option?
Yes, sir.
Dual boot.
Dual node, sir.
So that was a kind of situation wherein like you could have two operating system installed onto same laptop within two different drives. At the time of system startup, you were supposed to select one operating system at a time, maybe Linux or maybe Windows, and that way you could have managed two operating system in one laptop, but only one could work at a moment. So why I'm telling you that particular old story? Why? Because we can create or we can install operating system all into primary disk, primary partition. So let us create a primary partition here. Now what could be the numbers? The numbers will be between 1 to 4. So guys, if you see any partition and numbers are between 1 to 4, then you can easily understand this is a primary partition. You can identify a partition type with the number sequencing as well. First sector, leave it like this. Now guys, it is saying, okay, define the size you want to assign to this particular partition. So I will say, like, let us say 2 GB plus 2 GB. So plus or minus, then after whatever you want, like KB, MB, GB, TB, PB, whatever size you want, you can define it. Now, guys, there was a command known as F. What does that mean? List unpartitioned space. Still 4 GB, still 8 GB is remaining.
Yes, sir.
Now, print M for help. Now, it is saying, if you want to save and quit, press W. If you want to quit only without making any change, without saving changes, press Q. What I want to do, write and quit.
W.
Okay. fdisk-L. So now there is a particular partition XVDB1. The same way as we can see here. Now let us see.
Sorry to interrupt. So now we just created a new file system only with the disk.
Come again. What did you say?
So now we create a new file system with this disk, so we can mount any data over here.
Yes. Now you can format it. mkfs.
Yeah.
Let us say .ext for
Disk name.
this is formatted. Run a command blkid in order to check whether it is formatted or not. What do you see here at the in the bottom line? XVD1, not this one. XVDB1. Okay, this one. What is the type here?
ext4.
There is a command known as tune to fs. Let dev xvdb1. Okay, so this is defining here I was telling you something like when this operating system will check the file system if not defined anywhere. What is written here? Last checked today. Check interval 0. We can define that interval. Lifetime writes this much. Then after there will be like maximum mount count -1. It means unlimited. We can define the particular values here. Like after how many mount count this OS should be checked. Okay. For example, mount available 2 GB disk space.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I want to check mount count means earlier it was 0, now it is 1.
Yes.
Let us say you mount what? One. As soon as I will mount this once again, this will increase. So just remember, if I set certain threshold here, let us say 1 to 100, whatever. So like once this particular system reaches to that particular value, my file system will be checked. Once file system is checked, this mount count will reduce, will once again start from 0. Are we clear with that?
Yes.
Check interval 0. We can define time interval as well. Let us say like 180 days, 60 days, or whatever number. Okay. So we have seen the partition. Okay, once again, let us go back.
One question is there. The
Please.
partition we had created right now, it's of 2 GB. Can we extend that to certain
No.
more like, okay, it will be permanent.
No, we cannot.
Okay.
Because we can extend only that partition which is created at the very last. The very last partition we can create because there is some space available. This is primary partition and rest of disk space is still not allocated. So at this point, definitely you can increase it. But let us say if you want to increase the file system size or the partition size in that particular situation when rest of space has been allocated to other partition types, then it will not be possible.
Okay.
There is only one partition. Let us create new. And right now I want to create extended partition. What is extended partition? Extended partition is going to be a container for logical partitions. Because we can create only 4 primary partitions, not more than that. But let us say, if we have, let us assume this is not 10 GB, this is the 10 EB partition. EB means?
Exabyte.
Yeah, very true, exabyte. So if this partition is containing, let us say 10 exabyte of size, so we cannot only create 4 partitions there. We need to create more, right? So in that case, we can create maybe 1 primary partition, after that extend it. What is the number? I would like to give it 2. Now, what is the particular first sector? Leave it default. How much size do I want to allocate? I want to allocate 6 GB. Like plus 6 G. Print information. So this is extended partition. Size is 6 GB. I want to check unpartitioned space. So still we have 2 GB unpartitioned. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to create new. So this time it will ask me to create only 2 type of partition, either primary or logical, because extended has already been created. So if I want to create, let us say I want to create logical, so by default it will not ask me any partition number. Now it will be in sequence. All the logical partition begins from number 5 and can go up to n number. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So first sector leave default size. Let us say I want to give it 2 GB. Save and quit. First partition of 2 GB. If you see XVDB2, this is extended one. What is the size of this?
1 KB.
1K.
And why is that so, guys?
Because sir, extended have no data.
यार डेटा की तो बात ही नहीं ना अभी आयुष.
Sir, you don't mount the partition, sir.
नहीं तेजा, it's not like that. How it goes? This is logical container.
Yes sir, yes sir. This
In
is
order to
logical
keep
container.
the data, हमें क्या करना होगा? हमें logical partition create करने होंगे ना inside that logical container.
Exactly.
So that is where हम लोग देख सकते हैं XVDB 5 के पास 2 GB स्पेस एलोकेटेड है. XVDB 1 के पास 2 GB स्पेस एलोकेटेड है. Wherein this is primary and this is logical. How do we segregate? ये नंबर पढ़ो एक बार. क्या लिखा हुआ है?
XVD1,
एंड यहाँ पे क्या लिखा हुआ है?
XVD5.
तो अगर नंबर इज लाइंग बिटवीन 1 से 5, 1 से 4, 1 to 4,
1 to 4.
that means it is going to be primary.
Primary.
And if it exceeds beyond 4, then it means it is
Extended or logical. Logical.
भाई जो आपका एक्सटेंडेड है that is also falling between 1 to 5, 1 to 4 ना.
हाँ.
अगर नंबर 5 से ज्यादा है then it is
Logical.
logical और नंबर 5 से कम है it is primary.
Primary.
Yes. Okay. Let us try to format it mkfs dot ext for dev
XVDB.
xvdb5 कर दें फॉर्मेट.
Yes sir.
लो अब ये कैसे चेक करें कि फाइल सिस्टम बना नहीं बना? अदिति
BL के ID. Oh, sorry.
ओके कोई बात नहीं. बीएल का आईडी बन गया फाइल सिस्टम.
Yes sir.
Sir.
Type ext4.
एक नया फोल्डर बना लो mkdir/images
Images.
माउंट. क्या माउंट करना है? /dev xvd5 कहाँ?
5 images/image. System serial daemon
भी पार्टीशन
debug.
वगैरह बनाते हैं उसके बाद ये कमांड चलानी होती है सिस्टम सीरियल daemon reload.
Yes sir.
ठीक है जी. चलो छोड़ो ये तो हो गया. अब अगर देखना पड़े कि हमें ये चेक करना पड़े कि फाइल सिस्टम माउंट हुआ नहीं हुआ, लोग यहाँ पे
DF5.th.
th कमांड से. एंड इसको परमानेंट माउंट कैसे करेंगे गाइस?
fstab.
fstab. etc fstab.
तो हमें पहले एंट्री देनी होगी ये वाली.
Yes sir. Dev xvdf then
डेटा
mounted point then
इसमें फील्ड क्या होगा हमारा? फाइल सिस्टम टाइप. चौथा फील्ड होगा लाइक माउंटिंग पैरामीटर्स लाइक डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू डिफॉल्ट्स और बाद में 00 या 01 02 जो भी हमें लिखना है बेस्ड ऑन द फाइल सिस्टम कैटेगरी. ठीक है.
हाँ.
Okay sir.
एनी क्वेश्चन सो फार?
No sir.
और अगर मैं ऐसे ही अपने सिस्टम को रीबूट कर दूं तो क्या होगा?
सर फाइल सिस्टम अनमाउंट हो जाएगा विदाउट fstab से.
Yes, my system will go unmounted, like not completely, but all the particular file systems which are not available or which are not found inside /etc fstab वो file system मेरे unmounted हो जाएंगे.
Sir, you edit a fstab, sir.
Pardon?
Like fstab is there in a /etc. Right?
Yes, /etc fstab. This is the location of that file.
Sir, with practice we can know like what are the locations available for the.
Yes. You can easily get to know.
Okay, sir.
So, any question, guys?
No, sir.
Like usual, any feedback for the session?
Yes, sir.
Good sir, good.
Good, sir.
राकेश जी कोई feedback?
Every day we are like go deep beyond each and every concept of each and every command. So that is excellent part.
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू.
Most welcome.
तो समझ में आ रही है चीजें?
Sir, after doing more practice, then we can only aware of these all things, sir.
Yes.
only listening and writing notes. I am not able to remember, sir.
यार देखो प्रैक्टिस तो करना पड़ेगा ना तेजा।
Okay, sir.
अच्छा हिंदी में थोड़ी बहुत समझ लेते हैं ना आप लोग?
थोड़ा थोड़ा समझाता सर हमको।
हमको भी थोड़ा थोड़ा ही आता है बस। चलो ठीक है दोस्तों, बाय बाय, हैव अ गुड टाइम।
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. What will be today?
नेक्स्ट टॉपिक विल बी LVM।
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for today's session.
बाय।